Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is early Friday morning, like 1 a.m. I find this a pleasant moment. Everybody here is in the bed and asleep. And it allows me to separate this moment in time and share with you some very serious thoughts. I wanted to, in my lifetime, express to you how much God loves you and to indicate some stuff to you that you are not familiar with. And I do this as a messenger from the power that we can't see, can't touch, and can't feel that I call God. And I'm here to do that because I have committed myself in respect for the miracle that I represent. I represent one who threw his life away and an unseen power protected it and gave it back to me. And so the life that I live, while I'm satisfied with it, my constant prayer is that thy will be done on earth. And I have seen love, and I know love, and I want love, and I desire love, and I seek to love. And I believe every last one of you do as well. And that love that is so important to you, the Father, the Heavenly Father, has given it to you from the beginning of your existence. And it still is there today. But we as human beings have gone through a lot of changes. We have been robbed of our identity. We don't know who we are. We don't know that individually, each of us are special gifts from God to this planet to render a service, a particular service, while here in the process of life, in the process of continuity of life. Every last one of you are as special as the stars in the sky. You don't know that because you've been trained to think otherwise. The only reason that I can tell you is because of the miracle. Without the miracle, I'd be just like you. But I know that God exists. I'm not just presupposing God exists because I don't believe man made the earth. I'm not just presupposing because I don't think man made the clouds and all of that. No, I mean, yes, I do give that God the credit. But I do that because of what God did for me. That eliminated doubt about any possibilities of man. And so when I committed myself, then the message that was given to me was to give you the message of freedom. Because we are all, you are all slaves, every last one of you. Every human being on the earth is a slave. A slave to something that works against them in any fashion. And especially those of you who consider yourselves as the 99%. The 1% are being had too. They just don't know it because they're playing God. And they only are able to play God because you have been trained to permit it. Now, ladies and gentlemen, just not to beat on you, let me tell you what really bothers me. There is no greater love to me than every last human being on the face of the earth having their dreams come true. And it appears to me that in order for that to happen, it has been designed in such a way that each of us must play a part in that process to make sure that not only one, but if there are 8 billion people on the earth, every last one of the 8 billion dreams come true for them. And that process requires our input. And the input that we have been given to give gives us also our greatest joy in delivering it. And it is essential in the process of the manifestation of all the goods and services that are essential not only for our survival, but for life itself and the progression of life. And so we accept that. This is life. And my message to you is that this is God wanting you to be free again. And we live in a world, we live in a nation where our system does not deliver anything like this. And I know why you resist this message. This message is brand new. This message is foreign. You don't get this message for going to church. When you go to church, you receive over and over again Bible stories. If you were really serious, you just read the Bible once, and you know the message of the Bible. The message of the Bible is to love. To love. That's the message of the Bible, to love. If you don't know what that is, then as you would have it for you, then have it no less for anyone else. And to assure that this happens, you actively participate in the process of protecting it. This is all, everybody doing this now. Protecting it. And it is designed in such a way that you're free, you're prosperous, you're peaceful, you're joyous, and your dreams are coming true. You have unlimited, unrestricted health care from the womb to the tomb. You got all the education you want, unlimited and unrestricted. Food, clothing, shelter, something that no human being on the face of the earth will ever have to worry about. And if it is, it's because of the hand of God and not men. This, my friends, allows for going to the moon, going to Mars, and any other place that we want to go, because we're being led by a spirit of love. Now, this is what I brought to you 3 times. I believe it started when Jesse Jackson ran for president of the United States. I was out there as an independent running as a write-in. I ran against that. I ran against Bill Clinton. I ran against the Bush. I ran against Barack Obama. And the message that I was giving to you is the message of absolute freedom. And you have been trained to reject all of it. And you've been going with Republicans and Democrats, even though you knew they weren't going to deliver. You were too afraid to even think about this. And in your churches, they don't even dare tell you this kind of stuff. All of this is supposed to happen after you die. But I have been given the message to tell you that the power of it today is in your hands. You've been lied to. You've been conned to believe in another. And the other's idea is to play God. Like you can't see this God here because he's a spirit. These gods over here are not spirit. They're just hiding behind curtains. And they are using money as a bait to replace God. But it hasn't replaced God. It only allows you to be used as a tool. Because on God's side, there's complete harmony. On the side that you're on right now, there's nothing but disharmony. And what really tears me up, ladies and gentlemen, is after all of these times that I came before you, you know, really, I know many of you never heard of me because the system is designed that a person like me will not get any publicity. The fact that I talk about this wonderful newness of life for everybody, you think that'll make the news? Heck no. They'd rather talk about all the lies that you're getting from Donald Trump, and incidentally, you brought that onto yourselves. Your blindness, according to the system's education, has allowed you to get Trump. And right now, you're still dealing with some Republican and Democrat thinking about getting rid of him, not even concerned about your future. And I'm still over here as a write-in trying to tell you that God is ready to deliver. Only God can deliver. And here just so you can't say you didn't have choice. But as I was saying, no, they're not gonna say a thing about me. But you who hear me right now, if it meant anything to you, you could jump on that telephone, on that Facebook and YouTube, and your co-workers or your friends or your guys that you hang on the corner with, your karaoke buddies, all over this nation, if you care. But in order for this to happen, you have to care. First of all, you can't believe that this can happen. Let me give you an exercise. You know how wonderful you want to be loved. You might not be loved like that, but you know how you want to be loved. Now, just assume that for some strange moment in time, you are loved just like that. Now, I want you to expand that love in such a way that it just flows out. It bubbles up in so big in you till it just flows out. And I want it to flow out over 8 billion people in this country. All that love that you see for yourself, all that fulfillment, all of that completeness, is just springs and pours out all over the human race. Now that's not just one of you. That's the 8 billion of you raining down 8 billion particles of love to every individual on the face of the earth. That's God, baby. You can't beat that. But you still over here talking about some money, talking about debt, talking about getting second jobs, talking about $15 an hour wage. Now, you know when you go driving and you see cattle out in the field and they just grazing out there, not doing anything, just grazing. Sometimes you might see pigs, they just snorting, doing their little do. Sometimes you might see deer, or you might see other animals. But they're just going through a routine. That's what human beings are doing, going through a routine, a daily routine that has been established by a system that robs you of all of your heaven. And the reason is because you don't know it. You were born into it, so you have accepted it as being the norm. You've just accepted it as being the norm, and since it's the norm, it must be right. It's been here all this time, so it must be right. Same way with the church. Whatever they were taught when they started preaching, they accepted that as norm. Everybody concerned, being consistent with it. They dare not branch out and try to look for something to give them some real education. Now, because they were trained not to do that. But see, ladies and gentlemen, what they produce is some 1% smiling, 99% going crazy, lying, cheating, stealing, and killing, everybody killing, president lying, trying to outsmart you, hell and broke loose. And I'm in the middle of this, looking at you, how you resisted God, or God's plan, and how you bought into this devilishness, and you act like you don't even know how to get rid of it. You start talking about politics. Why don't you stand for what's right? Why don't you stand for what's right and let right represent itself? Don't you trying to make no judgment about what's political. You do what's right. I didn't mean to be fussing like that, but it sure sounded like I was fussing at me. Anyway, when you come on this side, I'm just saying that'll even help you over on that side. But it'll help get some changes maybe if you're bold enough to really represent it. But over here, you made a decision. You made the decision to love. And you made a decision to allow God to live inside of you. And because God is inside of you, you ain't subject to no man more than any other man. In other words, you're subject to all men, but you're not subject to any man. You dig? You dig. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to say that to you. I wanted to just mention it. The fact that so much goes into trying to wake someone up that's in a deep hypnotic sleep. And sometimes many people who try spend a whole lifetime trying, and the people still stay asleep. But for those of you who have been gifted, who are out there doing the business, I would like to encourage you to keep on doing the business. These people don't know any better. And you know that your living is to do the will of God. Otherwise, you would not be here. So stand firm on your faith and understanding. You know the truth. So love like you ain't got nothing else to do but love. Till next time, this is Eddie Marcus saying goodbye.